Did you know that September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month? If not, let's go. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Peace Over Chaos with your favorite Shaniqua, of course. Y'all, September, if you didn't know, now you know, right? September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and today's conversation is one of the most important ones we'll have, right? Breaking the stigma around suicide. I know this is tough, but we're gonna keep it short, simple, and cute, but be real about it, right? Okay? So first I want to just start off with like myth versus fact, right? Talking about suicide does not encourage it. It opened the doors to support it. I had to start off with that because a lot of people think that, especially parents when it comes to their children, right? They think that if we talk about suicide, then we encouraging suicide. And that's not what we're doing. Actually, you're doing the quite opposite. You're talking about it and it's providing support to your loved ones so that they in hopes don't go through with any suicidal attempts. Right? So if you have a loved one, if you have a child that is having suicidal ideations, let's talk about it with them. Ask them more questions. Be a listening ear. This is not a time for judgment. Nope, we're not doing that. This is not a time for, to ridicule them, to be so hard and throw down the law on them. This is not a time for that. This is a time to provide an open space. This is a time to provide a safe space. This is a time to be vulnerable with them and let them be vulnerable with you. Because the whole act of suicide ain't got nothing to do with you, but everything with them, right? Because they feel like, and I'm gonna tell y'all this because y'all can do your own research to go a deep dive in it, right? But they feel like this is the best answer and the best solution to their problem because they can't really see or think beyond what's right there in the front of them. They can't see all the other possibilities that's out there. They don't know, their brain isn't conjuring up that, it isn't doing it for them. Right? It isn't showing them, it isn't allowing them to be able to see that there are so many more options because you are loved and you are supported. And you're not a burden. That part, right? Just saying. So talking about suicide isn't going to encourage them to do it. It's actually more than likely, it actually prevents them from it because they feel like they have support, especially when it's coming from a loved one, especially when that support is fueled by love and it's fueled by the desire to help them, right? Because they can feel it. They know if you're being genuine, right? Just saying. So what are some warning signs? Let's talk about just a couple of them, right? Withdrawal, changes in sleep, talking about hopelessness, or giving away possessions, right? A lot of people don't realize that last one I said, giving away possessions, right? And giving away possessions is usually not the very first sign. That's like towards the end, like, oh, they've come to a decision that this is what they're going to do, so they want to start giving away stuff. And here's the thing. I'm not saying everybody that's giving away possessions are suicidal. That's not what we're saying, okay? You got to look at all the signs, everything that has led up to that point, right? Has they been talking about this? Have they been, have they changed? Have their mood changed? Have they been starting feeling hopeless? Have they started, being more reserved into themselves and not talking to people? Has their tone changed? Their conversation changed? Has it been a shift in that? Their mood, has it been a shift in that? Are we noticing depressive symptoms that's been there for a minute? A change in behavior that's unlike them. You have a person that was once so jovial and loud and outgoing, and then all of a sudden they doing a complete 180. And everything is just looking very, very, very different. They're no longer jovial. They don't want to be outside. They're not doing the stuff that they used to like doing. Their conversations are changing. Not for the better, for the worse. Right? There's so many different signs that one can look out for. And I will definitely advise you all to do your research. Grab the resources. They're out there. If a loved one come to you and they're saying, I've been having suicidal thoughts, let's talk about it. Provide them that space. Or if you don't have the wherewithal to do it, encourage them to go to therapy or to go to a support group. Right? There's so many ways you can help. Right? Again, listen without that judgment. Validate their feelings. Because sometimes people want to know that their feelings matter. Sometimes people want to just be heard. Right? And again, connect them with resources. Sometimes people just don't know. Because sometimes they feel like they're the only ones in the world experiencing this, so they have to be the problem. And that's not even true. It's not. But they don't know that because they haven't come across anybody that's experiencing those same problems or thoughts or feelings, right? But if we can just simply connect them to the right person, the right resource, the right therapist, the right support group, that can make a world of a difference. If we can just validate their feelings and say, you know what, I understand, I hear you, I see you, that can make a world of a difference. There's so many resources out here, you all, for suicide prevention. It's no way we're not tapping into it. It's just no way you're not tapping into it. A simple Google find it will do the job, right? Having the Suicide and Crisis lifeline in your phone is helpful. If you don't know the number, it's 988, right? You can call or text that number if you're in crisis. You can give it to somebody who you know are having suicidal thoughts or are in a crisis and tell them, hey, if you don't want to talk to somebody on the phone, how about you text them, right? Be a resource to your friends and family. Be a resource to even the people you don't know, but yet they come across you for whatever reason. You've come in contact, they're in your orbit. Don't be afraid to share the information. Okay? So, I was keeping it short, cute, and simple. I told y'all we keeping it short, cute, and simple. Because there is so much out there on the topic of suicide prevention and the different ways we can do so. Seek a therapist, right? A psychiatrist if you need to. Get the help you need because you matter. Your life matters. So what I want you guys to, the two questions I want you guys to think about this week. What fears or discomfort comes up when you are talking about suicide? And how can you practice being safe, supportive person for someone struggling? Okay? So how can you practice being a safe, supportive person for someone struggling? And what fears or discomfort comes up when you are talking about suicide? Okay? So again, this week, your challenge, check in on one friend, coworker, or loved one. A simple, how are you? Really? Text can go a long way and can make a big difference. And remember, if you're struggling, you're not alone. Reach out because help is available. And if you didn't know the number to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, it is 988. You can text it or call it. You are not in this alone. Your life matters, so let someone help you. With that being said, share this with someone who is in need to hear this. Like, review, subscribe, and I appreciate y'all as always. Toodles! You matter. Yes, you.